my motto is you have personal relationship only with your wife, your children, your mother and father, that's it. Apart from that, you don't have personal relationship. In a lighter vein, sometimes my wife likes me, sometimes she doesn't like me. The other parties have only made us showboys. We are only there to add, to show that these people are secular. And we are only good for holding iftar parties. We are only good for taking a chadar of flowers to Ajmer Sharif. Why are we keeping that deposed leader in our country? Send her back. She's also Bangladesh, isn't it? Why don't you have an alliance with me? Come on, if I am defeating you, have an alliance with me. I'm ready for it. We don't want to have an alliance with me. So what can I do? So then I have to fight. One has to be careful which channel you're going to and who's going to be His Exhausted Highness over there. So all these things matter. So then you go.
Good morning, friends. Today we have with us Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi. He's in his 5th term as Lok Sabha MP from Hyderabad, representing AIMIM. Mr. Owaisi is one of the fiery and articulate faces in the opposition. In Parliament, one of the few well-researched, well-studied MPs known for his timely interventions. Despite being the fact that he is the lone MP of his party. In the last Lok Sabha, there were 2 MPs, but this time only 1 MP. So welcome, Owaisi sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting.
The format is simple, sir. If you want to give an opening statement, you can. Otherwise, we can still.
You can start.
Now that today is the last day of the monsoon session of Parliament, except for that full-fledged debate on Operation Sindoor, much business, we could not see much business in Parliament this time. Although the government managed to pass bills without again much discussions. So is it from an opposition point of view, is it good for the opposition that these disruptions continue and the government manages to pass bills without taking question hours or special mentions or any other thing where the MPs could grill the government?
See, I am of the opinion that if Parliament functions, it is good for our parliamentary democracy. And we owe a duty to the people of India who voted us and made us members of Parliament. And so opposition has a very, very important role to play in asking pointed questions about people issues to the government, exposing the government. And if Parliament doesn't function, the biggest beneficiary is the ruling party, the treasury benches. But at sometimes the opposition will have to oppose on certain important issues if the government does not want to debate on the issues which opposition feels are very important. But end of the day, I think so Parliament works, it's good. Because when this discussion of Operation Sindoor took place, it was, if you analyze, in my opinion, after hearing all the debate speeches, the government was on the back foot. Government was unable to answer certain questions, and that gave a lot of points for the opposition to take it to the masses also. So it's unfortunate that the Parliament has not functioned, and this government has an expertise in passing important bills in the din because they have this majority. So yeah, the Parliament should function, but unfortunately certain things are not in my hands, so I cannot say much about it.
You became an MP for the first time in 2004. You have seen Narendra Modi with a majority, with the BJP having a majority on its own in 2014 and in 2019. In 2024, the BJP's numbers have come down to 240. Do you see any difference in Modi 3.2 in that sense in Parliament?
There's no difference. There is no difference. They are as aggressive in terms of implementing their ideology in terms of achieving their Hindutva goals. So there's no difference, whether it's 2014, 19 or 24. The reason is that the parties were supporting BJP, whether it is TDP, JDU, Mr. Chirag Paswan party. They are somehow not able to establish their importance, and that is why BJP feels that they can go ahead. In fact, I read today that even the allies didn't knew that they were going to bring those three bills. So there's no change.
Since you mentioned those bills, you're one of the MPs who raised objection to introduction of those bills yesterday. What is your main concern?
See, first of all, this habit of sending bills to the members of parliament around about 12:30 a.m. and then to sit down and read and then speak to some lawyers who know about it, so it becomes very difficult, and then file a notice to oppose the introduction of the bill. It becomes very difficult. This practice should change. But the important thing is that, which I had given a notice of to oppose the introduction of these three bills, was this violates the theory of separation of powers, because the executive would be taking over the role of legislature, which is not the case. As long as the chief minister of a state or a prime minister enjoys the confidence of the house, he remains in power. Or the prime minister can promulgate, and say an order that we are removing this particular state government. But here, these three bills are making executive very powerful, and executives taking over the role of legislature, which is violation of principles of separation of powers, which is part of a basic structure. Secondly, it undermines our democracy, wherein as a minister, one is answerable to the people of that state. Now here you have that you are answerable to what I call unelected dictators who are bureaucrats. And thirdly, can any government, state government, take a decision which they feel, or in their opinion, it's a very populist decision? The bureaucrats will refuse. And lastly, you have an article, I think, if I'm not wrong, 69(1), wherein the articles in the Constitution says that the President should act on the aid and advise the Council of Ministers. You say this, the Constitution says this, and then this bill says that the President can remove the Prime Minister. So how do you do it? So and moreover, governor is appointed by the executive. And then if you see all these in any decision which any government takes, which is unpalatable to the executive, then you have this alphabet soup called ED, CBI, IT entering into it. So that makes it very difficult. And all these organizations are, their main heads are appointed by the executive of the day. So you can expect disaster only. That is why I feel that this was the 1933 Gestapo moment in Indian political history.
I have more questions to ask, but just, yes. Mike, take the mic.
Hello, I'm Vikas Patel. During the time of Operation Sindoor, there was a perception, also found a lot on the social media, that while, for instance, the position that you took was appreciated by many people, and it was seen as in sync with some kind of a popular mood. Similarly, Dr. Shashi Tharoor also, people said about him. Do you think somewhere the leadership of the Congress, while initially it was very careful, did it somewhere miss the plot, the way things panned out? Because eventually people from the Congress did go in the all-party delegations, while the leadership did not seem to be on board completely.
That, I think so, you should ask the Congress leadership. You should invite the leaders over here and ask them. I cannot speak for Congress party. But they should ask. Shashi Tharoor is still in Congress party. There were many Congress leaders who were part of this delegation. There were many allies of Congress party who headed this delegation. So I don't know. I cannot answer for them. It is for them to answer.
One more question. So, regarding your politics, like there has been a perception sometime in the past. For instance, I remember the last Bihar election where your party fielded candidates from Semanchal region. So there is one line of thought that Muslims in India today feel a bit cornered, and your politics ends up in seats where Muslims are in good populations to divide the Muslim vote. Would you agree with that criticism?
No, I am ready to debate with anyone. You get anyone who's making this claim. You should invite them to your adda over here. I'll come, and within 5 minutes, they will have no answer to give. Because how is it that my contesting is helping X or Y? It has no role. See, the data tells you, which many newspapers carried, that Narendra Modi or the NDA alliance is getting 50% of the polled Hindu votes. Now, where is the question of Muslims? So Muslims are not only marginalized socially, educationally, everywhere, but also politically also. So the real question is, how do you stop BJP from getting that much of majority community votes? It is not me, but if they want to give me the credit, I am ready to accept it, because that makes me more important in the Indian politics. But the fact of the matter is that the real issue is this. Even in Semanchal last time, we were part of this alliance with Mr. Kushwaha. We were given 19 seats. We won 5 assembly seats. In remaining 6, the RJD alliance won. And even if you add up the votes which our candidate got, that would not have helped the ND alliance. The remaining 9 were won by the ND alliance. The same thing, our votes would not have really helped the RJD alliance to win. But question is that now we have this debate of chori, right? Who stole my four MLAs? And when the same thing happened to the Shiv Sena party, Uddhav Thackeray in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, it was called murder of democracy. But you take away my 4 MLAs, is that an act of Gandhian, is it? So you must have a consistent stand, So that is the issue.
Hi, sir. Sir, we've seen Lok Sabha leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi consistently raise allegations of vote chori, of what he's calling vote chori, and I was just in Bihar. I've just come back from there. There are slogans like "Vote Chor, Gaddi Chhod," and we saw a very large protest here in Delhi also. Where is your party on these allegations of vote theft that Rahul Gandhi is?
No, our state president Akhtar Ul Iman is a petitioner in this in the Supreme Court. He is represented by Mr. Nizam Pasha, lawyer. So
no,
we
that's on SIR. I'm talking about the larger allegations of vote chori in the Bangalore seat that Rahul Gandhi has picked up, and
see, again, I cannot speak for Congress party. I can tell you one interesting thing which happened with me in 2024. Before the campaign started, all the opposition parties, including the candidate of BJP, along with the Congress leaders, some Congress leaders, not Congress party, went to the Election Commission and said that in Hyderabad Parliament constituency and one assembly segment where our MLA was there, that all these things have happened. So the Election Commission, on their representation, had taken the media to 3 places with video cameras, everything, to check whether the claim was right or wrong. And in all these 3 places, there were more than 96% of voters who were living there at that point of time when they visited. And they wrote a stinging letter that you have given a false complaint. So I used that letter in my election campaign to show that, look what they are doing. The question is that if SIR happens and if names are not included of genuine voters, then there will be questions raised about their citizenship, because if you read the instructions given by the ECI to ERO and AERO, is that if you find someone suspicious or you don't find them after 3 visits, you give it to the ERO, and he in turn can inform the competent authority on Citizenship Act 1955. So for me, SIR is very important, and our experience of Bihar tells us that majority of Muslim names are being excluded, are not included, and that is the most worrisome fact.
Sir, hi. So, what do you make of the timing of this bill, especially the constitutional amendment? Why now? Because the BJP at the NDA does not have the numbers. So, why do you think they would have introduced it now?
No, BJP doesn't, for BJP it is, they have to bring in everything. They have to achieve their, goals come what may. And for them, every time is the right time. They don't believe in all these things. So they know that their allies are completely surrendered to them. And they know that they'll not make any noise. And we don't know now. It has gone to the JPC or Select Committee. Timing, I don't know. Maybe they want to have some diversion from the SIR backlash which is happening against the BJP. So maybe that is one of the reasons, I believe.
I have one more question. So you were part of one of these international delegations that went abroad. There have been allegations, there have been questions which have been raised on whether India was able to sustain the narrative war against Pakistan after Pahalgam, and especially in terms of operations. Do you think we were able to do that, or?
See, as an afterthought, I think that immediately after that that strike on 7th or 8th of May, the Indian government should have spoken to many international journalists. I have the luxury of saying this, but they couldn't do that. They didn't do it for reasons better known to them. Secondly, the delegation which I was part of, headed by Jay Panda, wherever we went, from Bahrain to Kuwait to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to Algeria, we were very well received. And in fact, we met very important leaders or from those countries, from Deputy Prime Minister to head of their Shura, that is their upper house, think tanks and very important organizations. So it was very well received, and we had the opportunity of putting forward a viewpoint. But from all these 3 countries were all telling us, why don't you speak to Pakistan? So we told them we have spoken to them in the past, in 2000 when the Mumbai incident happened, 9/11, and then and then this attack on this Air Force base. We invited. In fact, I criticized the Prime Minister for inviting ISI to the air base, but nothing really came out, and we had to insist and tell them that last time you helped us in getting Pakistan in FATF grey list. This time also, if you do it. And so in fact, we had a very, very important meeting in Riyadh with the MOS Foreign Affairs for 2 hours. 2 hours, it's like they're sitting and speaking to him. They are telling their viewpoint, we are explaining to them. So Algeria also was very good. So all in all, we tried our best. I cannot speak of the delegation, but this delegation headed by Jay Panda, all of us, we were successful in putting forward India's viewpoint, in making understand, and dispelling this Pakistan's propaganda of India being, a country which wants to annihilate Pakistan. It's the other way around. We have to tell them.
Mr. Owaisi, you are one of the most vocal advocates of minority rights in the country today, where most parties, sort of in the past 10 years, we've seen shy of even talking about Muslims. Do you think that the BJP's Hindutva politics in the past 10 years, has uh, in a way changed the politics of the Hindi heartland in a way that minority politics or talking about minorities has become very difficult for mainstream parties. And is it something that is the right way of going as far as politics in the Hindi heartland is concerned for mainstream parties?
Let me give you an example. Recently the Constitution Club of India elections were held. There was only one Muslim in that panel. He also lost the election. So this whole politics, which is being done, unfortunately, it didn't start from 2014. It was always there before. But after 2014, it took a very definite and a concrete shape. And so in the present political environment, many parties who call themselves secular are very reluctant to talk about the issues pertaining to the biggest minority of this country. And you don't find them talking about after the verdict came on the train blast. In fact, some leaders of the Congress party said that the government should appeal. Then you don't find them talking about with the second Malegaon blast verdict came. The recent Nagpur exoneration of those 17, 18 youths had come. So it's unfortunate that if you're reluctant to talk about injustice, then it shows that what kind of politics you're doing. It's not a question of marginal. You don't talk about Muslims because you might antagonize and will not get the majority community votes. But if you're not talking about injustice, then what do you stand for? If you're not going to talk about the deliberate displacement of thousands of families which is happening in Assam, oh no, we cannot talk about it. We have elections to face. And then it shows that you're not going to be able to defeat Hindutva. You will not defeat BJP. And so it is for them to realize that you have to talk about injustice, you have to talk about violation of rule of law, or to upholding the rule of law. So that's it.
You're also one of the most prominent leaders at the national level from the minority community. But what we have seen over the years, and we have had great national level leaders from the minority community, since independence. But if we look at the past few decades, leadership, a national level leadership which talks about, beyond just minority issues, has been hard to come by from the minority community. Why do you think this has happened? Why hasn't an enlightened Muslim leadership risen in the past few decades at the national level?
So you have to read this book by Pratina Vanil, the scholar in I think it's Oxford. He says in his book that Maulana Azad felt suffocated in the then parliament. And Maulana Azad and Hifzur Rahman, they wanted those benefits which existed for the Muslim community to be given to the Muslims in independent India. So Mr. Sardar Patel used to encourage the other Muslim members, and they used to in turn say, oh, forget about it, join the mainstream. So this joining the mainstream has started from 48 onwards. So enlightened Muslim leadership you talk about. How do you make leadership? You make leadership by encouraging the community. So whether it's upper caste leadership, whether it is the Dalit leadership, whether it is the backward class leadership, the parties encourage them. You bring them at the forefront, you make them important. But if you don't do it, BJP will never do it, because BJP has no Muslim MP also. And so the other parties have only made us showboys. We are only there to add, to show that these people are secular. And we are only good for holding iftar parties. We are only good for taking a chadar of flowers to Ajmer Sharif. So we have been reduced to this symbolism. So that is why in UP I had said that kab tak aap dari bichhayenge, neta baniye. So no one wants. And it's the moment whenever I talk about political empowerment of Muslims, it is looked in a very different and weird way. And you take me back in history. Oh, what happened in 40s? I'm not responsible what happened in 40s. When the Indian Constitution talks about equality, justice, fraternity, equality, everything. So yes, one should get their right. I mean, now the data shows that the OBC MPs in the present parliament are equal to the upper caste MPs now. Why is it that the Muslim MPs you have lesser number of Muslim MPs? It is not because of Muslims don't have enlightened leadership. It is because these people are not enlightened in terms of accepting what is the spirit of the Constitution. They have forgotten the complete, the whole independence struggle, what happened at that time. So we're living in an age wherein anyone can discard, can marginalize the Muslim community, and they feel that, oh, you do anything you want, end of the day, on polling day, they'll come and vote for me. So there is a change among the Muslim youth. It will take some time. And then when the right, I'm sure the right time will come very quickly. And it will be a bitter lesson for all these political parties.
Yes.
Owaisi sir, you are somebody who's been there in politics. I've been seeing you for some time, and you have had very warm and very friendly relationship with other leaders. And I was wondering whether the new scenario, whether this, after this, in the recent past, this Islamophobia, has kind of gripped even in India. So has it affected your personal relationship? And also I wanted to know whether their statement, even, some of your friends, in the BJP, make some statements which is, by general public or maybe a moderate population, they feel that they are causing some kind of what we call inflammatory remarks. Do you think that are they causing any kind of trouble between the community and antagonizing Muslims?
I mean, if the Prime Minister praises RSS from the ramparts of Red Fort, what is the message he's sending to the whole country? Wherein there are documentary evidences of RSS not participating in the Quit India movement, in Salt Satyagraha. In fact, Mr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was a deputy CM with that person who moved a resolution for Pakistan. And then you have Organizer magazine writing about how the tricolor is of three colors, it's evil. You have bunch of thoughts wherein Gulwarkar has written about the Indian Constitution. So the Prime Minister himself says this, what is this? If this is not dog whistle politics, what is this? And as far as my personal relationships, in politics you don't have personal relationship. My motto is you have personal relationship only with your wife, your children, your mother and father, that's it. Apart from that, you don't have personal relationship.
Friendly.
No, okay, my childhood friends, yes, I know them, they know me. They know my good points, my bad points, so that kind of rapport is there. But in politics, you have relationship, but you cannot call it with capital P a personal relationship. I don't know. I'm not that lucky. I don't want to be that lucky as well. But yes, we speak to them with all respect, which they deserve, which I deserve. And then the last point, yes, you are seeing day in, day out mob lynching happening. What we are seeing now in Maharashtra, that all the Quraysh community have closed their shops from last, I think so, 3 weeks, because they cannot sell the product, which is their profession for years and years. And thirdly, you see suddenly attacks on dargahs, which happened in UP. Then you see someone had to go to court 2 days ago to stop the DDA demolishing a 13th century dargah.
Yes.
So these are all things which point towards increasing Islamophobia in our country.
So another question. Rahul Gandhi, even after he became the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi was, at least for some, his performance has been kind of, disappointing. But do you think this particular issue, which he has just now picked up, does it have, would it have traction among the population? Do you think that he has finally succeeded in bringing up and, highlighting one issue which is actually serious?
Okay. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know. I know Congress party would talk about it. I cannot say,
No, you ask a point.
No, I don't know. I cannot comment on leader of opposition's performance. He's a leader of opposition, and he has a very important role to play in the Lok Sabha, outside the Lok Sabha. How successful he is or not, I don't know. That Congress party would tell you in a much better way. I cannot say about it.
So last question, sir. In the past we have seen our national leadership raising issues when it comes to Middle East, and whether it was Palestine and other, even whenever there were trouble, our leaders used to speak. Even there was a voice in the country, to condemn it. So do you think that the current whatever happening in Gaza, the India's response as a whole, what do you think about it?
No, we are just keeping quiet. This particular BJP Modi-led government or NDA government is not speaking about the genocide which is happening right now in Gaza as we speak. They're not condemning Israel's, killing of Palestinians over there. So 65,000 Palestinians have been killed by the racist government of Benjamin Netanyahu. You have 20,000 children who are dead over there. Every day people are shot just because they're going to collect food, and not a single word is uttered by the Prime Minister or by his government. And then you stand up and say, oh, we are for two-state solution. Where will the state be if the Palestinians are being killed every day, day in, day out, when you have 1.2 million people who have become homeless? So yes, on Palestinians, on Gaza, on Israel, Mr. Modi's government, in fact, is supporting Benjamin Netanyahu in committing this genocide of Palestinians by keeping quiet. If they come out openly and condemn it, which other global South countries have done, then that would be a great change. But if you want the global South to listen to India, then you have to also listen to what global South is doing. You cannot keep quiet and say, oh no, we have earmarked so much of budget in our, so much of money for Palestinian relief or this and that. And then you cannot give this argument, oh, the countries around it are not speaking much. So India has always stood for Palestinians, and now is the time for Mr. Narendra Modi to be on the right side of the history by condemning this genocide which is happening in Gaza. My generation or the earlier generation, we did not see the genocide which happened with Jews done by Hitler. But now, right in front of us, it is being live telecast to us in the form of videos, in the form of news. And if we keep quiet, then history will not forget all of us.
Akash, so on the SIR again, of course, there's a legal challenge, there's now a political challenge in the street, but assuming that the SIR is indeed an act of exclusion, as is being alleged, and if it goes forward now Bihar then Bengal in the same manner that it has been, what are the options then for the opposition? How do you combat something if the election, if the argument is the election process itself is fundamentally rigged, then how do you combat that as a opposition in a democracy?
So the legal argument, Supreme Court, you know that
Yeah.
the argument is that SIR itself is wrong.
Yeah.
Now for that we'll have to wait what interim orders or what orders the Honorable Supreme Court will give. But we can mobilize people. We can tell people to get their documents ready, and wherever, like for example, Telangana state, I have met many important ministers and told them like, look, this SIR will happen in Telangana, and we have this thing called in Telangana called Me Seva centers, which issue certificates. So we have told them people come to this organization for residence proof, birth certificates, and police inquiry for passport. Please expedite it. And then we have to ensure that all these documents are given, and when the BLOs will be coming to all these areas, villages, we have to create an awareness among the people that please participate and take a copy of that enumerators form. Because my experience of what my party people have told me, which I value their opinion, is that the enumerators have not given them a copy of that form. So this can be done, and then this legal battle should continue. So SIR, it's basically done to exclude the poorer sections of our society.
So one follow-up and then one more. Is the other thing that's happening, I mean, first it was for the minority community, you would say Pakistani as a abuse practically in this country. Now it is, the census, and Bangladeshi is the kind of, the poor Bengali, often Muslim, is being excluded in this kind of new drive. People are being picked up without due process. With the exception of perhaps Mamata Banerjee, and there is a political, need there as well, there is a moral need. Do you think the national parties, what do you make of their relative silence on this issue?
Why are we keeping that deposed leader in our country? Send her back. She's also Bangladeshi, isn't it? Send her back. We'll have good relations with the present regime over there. It is a popular revolution which happened in Dhaka, which we have to accept it. So you have one Bangladeshi living over here and creating problems for our country by giving statements and speeches, which are not published here but very well carried. But you have these poor Bengali-speaking Indians who happen to be from Malda or Murshidabad, who were put on an aircraft and sent from Pune to Kolkata airport, and then they're dumped in no man's land. So this, and moreover, what right does the police have? You have no right at all. What right? How do you create a detention center over here? You have no right at all. It is, you have to inform the SP of the BSF. Then he in turn informs the 3 officers sitting in MHA, and then they decide, and then this case is taken to the Foreigners Tribunal. So everyone has become a vigilante over here. Anyone who speaks Bangladeshi or Bengali language, he becomes Bangladeshi. This shows this xenophobia which is penetrated everywhere.
The final question is, so for years you've been also speaking at regular intervals for almost a decade, let's say, on Dalit Muslim unity as a political formation, yet that is something that doesn't seem to have gelled on the ground in a meaningful way. And in fact, arguably, the BJP's outreach to SC communities has been yielded some dividends. What do you, I just like your analysis on that, what is preventing the kind of Dalit Muslim unity, especially because of the things like a lot of livelihoods are connected and a lot of that has been allegedly undermined.
So this should not be only for winning election. This should be a continuous work on every social level. And because their struggles, their discrimination, their exclusion is as equal, and even the dropout rate in schools is on the same level, unfortunately. So we have to work with them, not only to win an election, but on every other issue. It is very important that all the minorities join with the Dalit community and work together. That would be very good. That will be good for our democracy. That will be good for relationship, fraternity, for justice. it is, I agree politically, it is not an easy task. But apart from that, there are many organizations, many groups, many leaders who are working for this, and hopefully this should continue. We should not get disheartened, but we didn't get this, we didn't achieve this particular political result in election. But this journey should continue.
Sure.
Asad Saab, after Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor, you were in the limelight, especially on social media, as your several statements, especially on Pakistan, went viral. And various quarters on the right started seeing you in a new light. Why do you think this happened, and what is your message to them?
In a lighter vein, sometimes my wife likes me, sometimes she doesn't like me. Some days I'm very good, some days I'm not very good. So, what can I say? You don't speak for a country that some Johnny over there would like you. You don't say, you don't speak out against that barbaric attack which happened in Pahalgam to appease some leader or some organization. End of the day, all of us are proud Indian citizens, and we speak out. But if this is a new if this brings them, oh, we didn't knew this side of mine, I cannot blame them. See, in 2012 and 13 also, I was part of a delegation which went to Pakistan along with Mr. Manishankar Iyer and Mr. Yashwant Sinha. And in that group, Mr. Kirti Azad was in BJP, he was with us, Supriya Sule was there, Shahnawaz Hussain, who was still in BJP. So all of us went there, and we said the same thing in Pakistan also. So I don't know, tomorrow, since yesterday they have been hating me for opposing the bill. So yeah, this is democracy, everyone has a right to criticize.
So obviously you answered the question posed by Akash on Dalit Muslim unity. Now outside of your home state, the other fertile ground for your party has been Maharashtra, where you made immense forays first to the MLA that was elected, and then the MLA again got elected in Malegaon. But I wanted to ask about what exactly happened for MIM to split with BBA. I know it's a little dated now, but considering that there has been points of convergence, why has this rainbow alliance of sorts between Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi and MIM not worked out?
I had this important meeting with Bada Sahab in Pune.
Yeah.
It was only two of us. And then it was a long 2-3 hours meeting. So I insisted that please give us the seat where Imtiaz Jalil was an MLA and where Waris was an MLA. And along with that, give us 6 seats. The total was 7 or 8 seats. He said, no, your Imtiaz said 35, 40. I said, look, I am sitting in front of you. Give me 8 seats. And done. We'll walk off. But these 2 assembly seats are very important to us. But somehow Bada Sahab didn't agree to that. I still respect him. He's a very important leader in Maharashtra. But he didn't agree to it. So one cannot put complete blame or onus on my party. We tried till the last moment. But unfortunate also, we couldn't work together. But hopefully, let us see what happens in the future.
There's one small follow-up that soon we'll have civic polls in several parts of Maharashtra after the court has now given assent. Do you see this reviving in the coming time?
No, but because these are local body elections, local level, Imtiaz Sahab and the party is working with many social organizations and groups, and hopefully the result will be good for our party.
Good morning, sir. You spoke about falling Muslim representation in the parliament. what are your views, sir, on reservation for Muslims in legislative bodies and in educational institutions? The Sachar committee, as you know, had come out with findings that the status of socio-economic conditions of Muslims is worse than Dalits.
So we have this thing called first past the post system. Now, first past the post system has not guaranteed political representation of even the marginalized section, also of the Muslim minority. So we should have a debate on how long are we going to continue with this first past the post system, number one. Should we have a proportional representative system or a list system or a different form of thing? Secondly, about reservation. In Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, the reservation, 4% reservation continues in government employment and education. And in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, the reservation is not given to Muslim community as a whole. It is given to the backward caste among the Muslim community. And that is backed by an empirical data of their social and educational backwardness. So this reservation has really benefited the Muslim community in getting admissions in professional courses and in ensuring that they can become graduates, they can have an MBA, MCA, get admission in School of Nursing as well. This is very important. This should also be continued. Thirdly, in Maharashtra, you might know that when the reservation was given, the Maratha reservation was not upheld by the Bombay High Court, but the Muslim reservation to the 4 or 5 castes was upheld by the Bombay High Court. In education, but in employment they said you have crossed that limit. But unfortunately, deliberately the Fadnavis government didn't issue that GR. That I feel is very, it's a very wrong step. Injustice has happened to those castes among the Muslims in Maharashtra. Now, when the environment is such that you don't want to give reservations in education, employment, can you expect these political parties to talk about political representation, political reservation? You don't even, forget about talk about political reservation. They don't even give tickets to Muslims now. And even if they are given, they are only given to show we have given this number, that number. So, non-representation of Muslims in the Indian Parliament, in the state assemblies, is not good for our democracy. To strengthen our democracy, so that this country is a diverse country, to hear different voices, to hear their issues and how to solve them, you require their representation. And to make India a very strong country, yes, why not? Why don't you give Muslims reservation, education, employment? Not on the basis of the religion, but there are many castes. Caste is a reality in Muslims also. You give it to those castes based on, there's a huge empirical evidence also to back that claim.
Sir, another question. This is not exactly a political question, but sir, so from the little TV news media I've watched, I've always noticed that your name and your image is always used to generate paranoia and sort of fear among viewers. So, how do you feel about that? Does that faze you, the fact that your name, your image is always being used to sort of in this negative light all the time?
I don't know. I have, whether it creates paranoia or not, I'm not concerned. Because end of the day, people will listen to what I'm saying. If they form a bad opinion, a negative opinion, or so that is up to them. But whenever I go on a TV channel, I don't allow that anchor to ensure that he or she gets what they want. So, and then also one has to be careful which channel you're going to and who's going to be His Exhausted Highness over there. So all these things matter. So then you go. And then you should also know what are what topic they're going to discuss. So you don't allow them to run away from the. So yeah, one has to be careful. But unfortunately, people go on TV channels, allow them a free run. So this is it.
The BJP has a certain politics, which is at the heart of it. It's majoritarian. It excludes minorities in a very real sense. But the so-called secular parties, their hesitations in speaking about Muslims or Muslim issues or minority issues, why do you think that is? Is it because they think that if they speak for Muslims, then the issue, everything will become polarized, and that Hindus will vote as Hindus? So do you think that's a very pessimistic assumption that the moment you talk about Muslims, the Hindus will start voting for Hindus?
No, sorry, you can complete.
Yeah, and what I want to also ask you, do you think that this assumption is based on the present moment, that there is a kind of a Hindu upsurge, which the BJP has capitalized on now for 11 years? And do you think that this moment will pass, that there will come a time when this will exhaust itself, and this kind of hesitation in raising Muslim issues or speaking for minorities in the so-called secular parties this will change at some point?
No, but this has continued since Pandit Nehru's time. When Moe Mubarak of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was stolen, there were communal riots in the country. No one says this. There were 1 lakh Muslims who were pushed into East Pakistan in the communal riots. It's documented. There were some 40,000 Muslims who were given notices of either deportation or they were deported. Nelly massacre, Hashimpura, Malyana. So many riots took place in my city of Hyderabad. 69, the infamous 69 communal riots of Ahmedabad. So, any right-thinking Indian would want this to end. But are these political parties, do they really believe in this thing, that this should come to an end? There's a big question mark over it. And I just gave an example of the Constitution Club of India election. So you had 2 BJP people contesting. So the interesting thing that was told to me was that, nahi, ye itna communal Hindu nahi hai, dusra word communal Hindu hai. But both of them belong to BJP. Had it been other political party, that argument would have been, I could have taken with some straws. But here you have, so what can you say to this kind of argument? And thirdly, yes, the political parties, which you have rightly called so-called secular parties, are literally, they have just abdicated their responsibility. They have realized that we should talk less about Muslims and talk about development issues, talk about the progress which is going to take place. How do you accept the marginalization of 15-16% of population and talk about progress? I fail to understand when how do you talk about we are giving what BJP argument of we have given this benefits to everyone. I have put so many RT applications that please show us how many houses have you given under the Prime Minister Yojana. Now it's but now it has changed now. You see, before it was minority concentration districts. Okay. Now it has been expanded to aspirational districts. So now the Muslim numbers will come down more. No answer comes. So that is why I feel that they should be bold enough to ask these questions. The problem is with the Muslim community as well. The Muslim community, despite accepting all these things, on the polling day, they go out and say, Asaduddin Owaisi speaks very well. He speaks with all logic, but we don't have an option. So sometimes I think so, see, I have said this in public meeting also, suicide is wrong. And in Islam it is haram. So Muslims, one should do a political suicide by not voting for this party completely. Because even if you vote for them, BJP is still winning, or some communal guy is still winning. Then only, education is not a political issue for Muslims. Highest dropout rate. This government has even decreased the pre-matric scholarship, and they say we'll give you pre-matric scholarship from 9th and 10th class. Post-matric scholarship amounts have been reduced. So the Muslims should also realize that, enough is enough. You have to bring a change. You have to assert yourself. And assertion does not mean that you are helping BJP. Assertion means that you believe in that this constitutional message of which the Constitution gives us, that you must attain your rights. Because if these are not, this document is not dream. You have to achieve those liberty. You have to achieve that objective of fraternity, justice, equality. No one is going to come and give it to you on platter. And so hopefully the youth, the present youth which is there, they'll bring in this change.
Okay, sir, one more question. So whenever an election comes around, many of us who go and travel, we hear a conspiracy theory about how you are helping the BJP.
No, I don't know if you can, Manoj, can arrange one meeting with all these, people, Einsteins, and make this smaller person like me sit in front of them. I'll sit there if they want on the floor, and ask them, give me the proof. One MP, Muslim MP was there in Maharashtra called Imtiaz Jalil. Everyone conspired against him, communal or no communal, whatever it means, to defeat him. The whole thing was Imtiaz nahi jeetna chahiye. Imtiaz should not win. So during election, yes, there are many theories which suddenly emanate, and this theories, they start, I think so, 48 hours before the polling day. Suddenly, you have these people, Chinese whispers, oh, aisa hai, wo hai. But how long can you talk this nonsense when the reality is completely different? When you are not able to defeat BJP, you cannot put this onus on Asaduddin Owaisi, we are not winning, you are not able to defeat BJP. Why don't you have an alliance with me? Come on, if I am defeating you, have an alliance with me. I am ready for it. We don't want to have an alliance with me. So what can I do? So then I have to fight. I am a political party. I am not a philosopher. I'm not a social scientist to go into seminars and present a paper. I'm a politician. I'm a member of a political party. So you don't want to have now let us see what happens in this vice president election. Will they speak to me or not? I don't know. If they speak to me, then I'll let you know. But such is the environment that when they know they're going to lose the election, blame it on Muslim, blame it on this person, blame it on that person, so that their leaders don't take that responsibility. It's a very easy exit to do it. So that's very unfortunate.
Shalini here. Two questions. One was, you spoke about abdication of responsibility. Do you think to some extent the Muslim leadership has also not lived up to the Muslim expectations? Like leaving floor for, say, banning instant triple talaq to the BJP, not taking up issues of education, even the modernization of madrasa board to an extent, like leaving all these platforms for the BJP to take up.
First, there is no Muslim political leadership, which no political party has done in last 25 years. So now other parties must be having, but They have been there for long years. As far as education is concerned, I can tell you for a fact that within the Muslim community, everyone wants their son or daughter to get educated. If you read the Kundu committee report, which was given to this Professor Kundu committee report, which was given to this government in 2015 when Najma Heptullah was a minister, it says that the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons for the Muslim dropout rate is they don't have the financial wherewithal to get their children educated. So what Muslims do is that they send their son to a day madrasa, and the daughters are sent to an evening 2-3 hours classes. You don't open schools in Muslim localities. Who's stopping you? The government should open schools in Muslim localities. You don't open schools in Muslim localities. As far as triple talaq is concerned, I can tell you with all the responsibility that the Muslim clergy, the Muslim ulemas have criticized Muslims who have given divorce to their wives by the means of triple talaq. They called it a sin. It's not that they have not condemned that way of divorcing a Muslim woman. I have been part of this what we call Islah-e-Mashara public meetings. Unfortunately, those are not reported in the media because not much masala is there or whatever it is. But I have addressed many meetings, huge, I know more than 40-50 meetings in last many years, in last 8-9 years. Triple talaq, as you know, now you have higher number of Muslim women getting khula. They're taking it. They want to come out of that marriage, start working. But legally, Mr. Modi has created a law wherein he says if you give triple talaq, the marriage is not over. But it is a crime and you will be sent to prison. And if the court sentences you for 2 years or 3 years, the marriage subsists. Our argument is that if he has given a triple talaq and the marriage is not over, what is the crime he has done? And then why should that poor girl be in that marriage with that buffoon of a fellow and he sits in prison for 3 years? He comes out and the still marriage continues. This is the law which Mr. Modi has made. So this law has not been made to empower the Muslim woman. This law is made to ensure that Muslim women have no agency, no voice at all. Now desertions are increasing. It's a big headache for me when I sit in my party office in Darussalam. That man vanishes, is nowhere to be found. And then we will have to somehow tell the police in our own way and find out and give them, wo wahan par hai, usko lekar aiye aap. Then they bring him, catch him, send him to prison. That fellow comes out of prison on bail. Again he vanishes. So triple talaq, we have condemned it. Education, yes, there is a great change. Everyone wants the children, but they don't have finances, financial wherewithal. And thirdly, political leadership is not there. No one wants to create a political leadership. You only want some showboys to say, come out and say, Zindabad X, Zindabad Y, he is our savior. That is their only job. And say some good Urdu sher shairi. And 50% people do not even understand what he said. Arey wah wah wah, kya bole aap? Over, that's it, done.
And this is the last question because he has to catch a flight.
Yeah.
I promise
This
him
new
that.
NCRT module speaks about the partition being, holds Jinnah, Congress and the Mountbatten responsible for partition. You think partition is still a debate, and why does the BJP keep raising it? It has raised it again this time. And
So I have read Mr. Maulana Azad's book, India Wins Freedom. In that book he says, I went to Gandhi. I besieged him. I pleaded with him. I went and met Nehru. And then Maulana said, I felt disheartened that no one is listening to me. So BJP uses partition because they have no single individual to show that they participated in the freedom movement. That is what BJP wants to do. Quit India movement, there is no one is there. They can't even show one photograph, one name. Oh, here's our leader. They're very good in appropriating Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji. They are very good in appropriating Baba Sahib Ambedkar. You know, so BJP has no one to show. They keep on talking about partition. And at end of the day, 90 or 91% Muslims didn't have the right to vote. It is only the Jagirdar or the Zamindars or people who had some enough degree or that income, whatever, who had right to vote. Majority Muslims didn't have right to vote. So to blame partition on Muslims is completely wrong. And there's an interesting book, I think so, that's why I said publicly, I'm going to write a letter also to the NCRT that please include Shamsul Islam book on Muslims against partition. And so that people come to know how did partition really happen, and who agreed, why did they agree. You know, we lost 1 million lives in that. So BJP uses it. BJP wants to use this partition because they have nothing to show. RSS has nothing to show that someone was there fighting against the Britishers. In fact, there is a diary in which Mr. Monji writes he went and met Mussolini. And he was so inspired by his handshake. He said, oh great, you know, we'll come back and replicate what Mussolini has done. So they were, at that time, they were interested in Mussolini and fascism. So that is what BJP does. It helps them in creating an impression, oh look, that country was given a religion. Yes, that was given a religion, but this country stood for pluralism and diversity. This country has no religion. This country celebrates every religion. This country even celebrates people who don't believe in God also. That BJP forgets.
Thank you. There are still many questions to be asked, but since you have to catch a flight.
I can, one or two questions I can take.
Yeah. Hari?
Sir, you mentioned about government not giving data about the So you mentioned about government not giving data, though the government doesn't give data anymore. But I can see one question asked by you to the Rural Development Ministry in August 2021, and while answering your question, the written question, they shared the information that 26 lakh Muslims have been given houses.
Yeah, but I wanted the names state-wise. You know, it's like for example UP, they're not giving it.
No, they have given the state-wise and year-wise detail.
Names. Where have you given in UP? In Lucknow or which part of it? Never it comes out. They're not able to give that. You're right.
That list, because I write on rural government, so I can access that. Anyone can access.
Please give it to me if you have it.
Yeah.
We'll send some people on the field and find out.
Yes, sir. My question is my question is how has been your experience, because you have been fighting two national parties, Congress, BJP at the same time, and the regional parties also. How has been your experience in development approach of all these players in your constituency?
In my constituency?
Yeah.
So in my constituency, in Hyderabad Parliament constituency you're talking about?
Yes.
I mean, we fight every day to get development projects sanctioned. And after Revanth Reddy became the Chief Minister of Telangana, so when we met him, I know we had a very bitter political fight because we were supporting the BRS party. People of Telangana decided that the Congress should come into power. So anyway, to cut the long story short, when I met Revanth Reddy as Chief Minister first time, so he was the one who asked me, what are development projects you want to do in your constituency? And I said, look, these are some 4 places where road widening has to happen. And so when you meet these people, you have to say it very quickly before they say, oh, kitta hai? I said, the cost is 450 crores. And I said, there's a metro project which has been not taken up in this particular segment of my area of my constituency, which requires around about 2,000 to 500 crores. He said, okay, I'll do it. I said, but you have to come in and inaugurate it. He said, when do you want? I said, you do as far as you want. I said, at least for road widening, you call the principal secretary. He spoke to him. So that road widening work is still going on now. Some hiccups happen here and there. The metro line from the Jubilee bus stand to the Falaknuma Palace, the demolition has started taking place. Through my MP fund, majority of the fund is utilized for constructing schools, colleges. So development is, it's much needs to be done.
So which of these three parties helpful? Like BJP, Congress, TRS or TDP? You have experience with all four.
So I can answer about Revanth Reddy after before 2028 elections. Till that time, let me.
That is
but, but he has been very positive. After a bitter political, acrimonious political battle, when you meet someone for the first time and he says, "Okay, I'm ready," you do it. So TRS party, when KCR was as chief minister, they couldn't take up this metro project. But they had given 300 crores for a sewerage line in an assembly constituency called Karwan. But they couldn't do it for Chandrayana, where Asaduddin Owaisi is MLA. So Revanth sanctioned it, around about 250 crores for sewerage line in Chandrayana assembly segment. But right now the problem which my constituency faces, is traffic, and we require more larger stormwater drains because of the sudden rainfall which is happening. So these are, and he also inaugurated the second longest flyover in my constituency, and he named it after Dr. Manmohan Singh. So, but other thing is that he agreed to the removal of the High Court from my constituency to a different place. I had a bitter argument with him. I said, why did you agree? It's a heritage building, and when Rajshekar Reddy was the chief minister, this same proposal had come up, and we had requested him, sir, you take the adjacent hospital into the High Court, and you construct this hospital within the vicinity of that High Court where the police land was there. So now I'm also insisting with Revanth Reddy to sanction one. They are going to create some education campuses, wherein from school, colleges, other education institutes will come up. So I'm insisting that it should be given at a particular place. Hopefully that should also happen. But development continues. It's enough has to be done. I agree with.
Mr. Owaisi, when you speak, people listen to you carefully. You know, most of the time you talk logic, you quote constitution, and we also see there's a complete void when it comes to Muslim leadership nationally. What stops you from becoming a mass leader with a national appeal, and why have you not been able to form a movement, national movement for Muslims so far?
I don't know. You're writing obituaries too early, so you have to wait. I have some more livable, I don't know, time. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. But the struggle continues. That is the end result, and the objective is that we must have a political leadership, not a voice. You require a political leadership, as other communities have it. And they don't shy away from saying, this is our leader. So hopefully it will happen. All of us within my party, my colleagues are working for it. Success is yet to come, but it will come. I'm an eternal optimist. So hopefully it will happen.
Let the lady has the last question.
So we have heard a lot of times that BJP talks about appeasement politics. And I think that stops the opposition from talking about Muslim communities and their rights, as we were talking earlier. What is the way, how is opposition planning to tackle this problem? Because not speaking about this is not a solution. So how staying in the opposition, how do you talk about their rights but also not give in to their narrative of appeasement politics?
No, I disagree with you on BJP. See, BJP does not believe in any kind of justice to the Muslim community because of their ideology of Hindutva. Because what Golwalkar has written in Bunch of Thoughts, what Savarkar has written in his Hindutva book, what the speeches of Sar Sanchalak which are there and available for everyone to see, how do you deflate this argument and expose BJP is by data, empirical evidence. For example, what Prime Minister said about infiltration, demography is changing. It's completely rubbish, nonsense. The population decadal growth in Bihar and Assam is lower than the state, and in one place it's lower than the national decadal population growth. The questions that have been asked in the Parliament by this government, they refuse to give a number on infiltration. You use the NFHS data and then show them, is this, you use the PLFS data, that how is it that in self-employment the Muslim numbers have increased and in labours it has come down. So one will have to speak, and people who know this get that data and expose BJP.
But they talk about appeasement on the basis of historical political incidents that have happened.
Like what?
Like the Babri Masjid one.
No, Babri Masjid is not an appeasement. Babri Masjid was what the Supreme Court itself calls an egregious act. That you went to the Supreme Court with the assurance that you will not touch the Babri Masjid and you demolished it. And then Mr. Mohan Bhagwat called January 2025 an independent day. How is it Independence Day? 15th August is the day. So it is very easy to tackle this BJP's argument of appeasement with data and with facts, and they themselves have no Muslim MP. When the Prime Minister can, in a lighter vein, can take his hand and smash on his chest and say, "I am the biggest BC leader," like Tarzan shouting in the jungle. So we can tell him, boss, you don't have a Muslim over there. But are we doing it? We're not able to do that. So it's appeasement. What appeasement? There is no appeasement at all. If appeasement is there, you show us what appeasement has been done and how that has really helped for the Muslims to progress in every sphere of life. It has not happened. I can tell you for a fact the Muslims who are progressing in life, their progress in life has nothing to do with any political party. Nothing to do whatsoever. It is because of their own struggles, their own wisdom, their own hard work, sincerity, and to able to withstand this tsunami of Islamophobia, and credit goes to them. So there is no appeasement as such which has happened. And vote bank politics, so, in 80s and 90s, maybe that generation was very happy. Oh, vote bank. We didn't have any vote bank. If we had a vote bank, we would have had at least 50 odd MPs in the Parliament. We never had a vote bank. But Muslims were kept happy, with inverted commas. Oh, you have a vote bank. Where is the vote bank? So it is like saying to some old Nawab, "Arey, aapki diodi mein to sone ki tijori hai." That man also knows there's nothing inside, but he behaves like that. Ke mere ghar mein hai. There's nothing inside. So that's it.
Does that sway voters though?
What? No, not anymore. Not anymore. See, the problem right now is that we don't have a viable alternative to BJP. How do you defeat BJP? So it's like question of not even lesser evil. It's question of अब यही है क्या है?